Every wound you carry inside is like a shadow that walks with you. Even if you change cities, people, or of stage, many times it seems to return with another face, like a cycle that never ends. The Buddha taught that suffering is repeat, not because life is unfair, but because our mind follows feeding the same roots. Thoughts that go around in circles, emotions that we don't let go, attachments that they cling like invisible chains. Today I want to share with you the spiritual principle that breaks the cycle from emotional pain. 7 lessons that, if you apply them, can change the way you look at your wound and the power you give it. This is not a message to fill your mind of theory. It is a guide for you. Heart begins to walk free, light, and in true peace. Take a deep breath and accompany me step by step through this path. Let's begin. It is said that a young man, tired of their suffering, decided to run away from everything and went into the mountains. There, facing an abyss, he let out the rage that consumed him. With a heart-rending cry, he exclaimed, "You hate." And the mountains echoed back, "I hate you." Her heart trembled. Through tears she cried out again, "I hurts." And again the mountain answered, "It hurts." Bewildered, he fell to his knees, because even the mountains seemed to be against him. He looked for an old man who lived nearby, and he told her what had happened. The wise man listened to him calmly and then smiled tenderly. "Son, what you hear is not the voice of the mountain, it's yours. The echo is not punishment or mockery, it is a reflection. Life is the same. It always gives you back what you throw from within." The young man then understood that it was not the world who repeated his pain, but him same, who projected his time and again wounded, waiting for a different echo while shouting the same thing. That day understood that the cycle of suffering does not. It breaks when changing location or people, but by transforming what is carries inside. Because the mountain always gives back that receives, but the human heart can learn to sow another voice. Because what you throw out, hate, fear, gratitude, or love, inevitably returns to you multiplied. Stop for a moment. Close your eyes and think. How many times in your life have you heard the same echo disguised as different voices, situations, or faces? Different people, but the same pain. New circumstances, but the same wound. The Buddha taught that life is like a mirror that never lies. It reflects what we carry inside. If there is anger inside, the life will show us faces that awaken more anger. If there is anger inside fear, we will attract again and again experiences that confirm that fear. And if there is love and clarity inside, that same echo will be returned multiplied. This is how the pain cycle works. What we don't heal, we repeat it over and over again, like an endless echo in the mountains of our existence. But here's the key. That cycle isn't a condemnation, is an invitation. An invitation to stop, to listen to us and decide from what vibration we want to respond to the life. Because the echo only changes when changes the voice that pronounces it. Lesson 1. The cycle of remembrance. The Buddha taught that it is not the wound that heals, that destroys us, but the habit of caress it with your mind. The pain itself, it's like a spark, it burns for an instant. But when we turn it into constant remembrance, in thought repeated, that spark transforms into a fire that never goes out. Every time you relive what happened, don't you just remember it, you live it again. Your heart beats like that day. Your emotions flare up as if the wound was fresh, and your vital energy was drained into holding on to a past that no longer exists more than in your mind. It's like opening a physical wound over and over again with your own hands. Never will have the opportunity to heal. The cycle of memory is that custom unaware of returning to the same pain. Over and over again, as if repeating it, we found an answer. When in reality, all we do is to prolong the invisible prison that we tie. Breaking this cycle does not mean forgetting what has been experienced, nor deny the pain that we crossed. It means making a conscious decision. Do not make the wound to your home. No, turn it into the bed where you sleep, or at the table where you feed your thoughts every day. The mind has the custom of returning to the known, even when what is known is painful. But spiritual practice, remember, the memory should not be prison. It can be master's degree. Every time the mind wants to return, you can choose to bring it into the present. Breathe, observe, tell you, that's it. It happened. Today, I have the opportunity to choose something different. True healing begins when we stop visiting the place where we suffer and begin to inhabit the place where we can be reborn in this moment, this now. Lesson 2. The poison of why my. One of the deepest roots of the human suffering is hidden in a question that seems innocent, but that acts as a silent poison. Why me? That question opens a labyrinth without output. Every time you formulate it, your mind drags you into the halls of the guilt, of injustice, of resentment. And the most painful thing is that there is never enough of an answer. Although someone told you for this reason, you heart would still feel that it is not fair. Why does he keep me chained to the role of victim? It's like staring at a closed door waiting that one day it opens while you forget that there are other doors waiting to be opened discovered. The Buddhist path proposes a radical transformation. Change the what, for what purpose? That little twist in the words opens a different universe. Pain stops being condemnation and begins to show himself as a teacher. When you ask why it happened to me this, your mind no longer looks for culprits. Seek purpose. Your wound is no longer a blind burden, but a lamp that illuminates learning. Perhaps it was to awaken your compassion, perhaps to teach you strength, perhaps to remind you that there is more inside you, resilience, than you imagined. Pain does not come to destroy you, comes to transform you, but you can only see it like that when you stop to ask why me, and you dare to ask what for within me. That change of perspective does not erase what had happened, but it does change what you do with it. You stop being a victim of your history, and you start to be an alchemist of your experience. Lesson 3. Borrowed weight. Much of the pain we carry in silence does not really belong to us. They are inherited guilt, fears of others that we accept without realizing it, social demands that we made our own so as not to be rejected. We grow up with phrases like, you have to be always strong, you must not fail, you must to please, and without realizing it, we begin to carry backpacks that never were ours, until one day we discover ourselves exhausted, confused, living more to expectations foreign to our own truth. The spiritual principle here is clear and liberator. Don't carry a load that doesn't belong to you. Ask yourself, is this pain I feel really mine, or did I adopt it from someone more? Does this demand reflect my soul, or is it a mandate I accepted out of fear? Am I living my path, or am I walking in shoes that aren't mine? Breaking the cycle of pain too, it means giving back to each one what he is yours. The fault that does not correspond to you, the fear that was not born in you, the demand that does not honor your essence. And when you do, the only thing that matters remains. You naked light, luminous truth, because the soul never came to carry foreign chains, came to express himself from the freedom to be authentic. Freeing yourself from borrowed weight is like take off an armor that wouldn't let you breathe. Suddenly the air comes in, the heart beats more freely, and you discover that you weren't broken. You were just covered by layers that were never yours. Lesson 4. The crack is a portal. Pain opens a crack in the soul, and many times the first thing we feel is fear. Fear of fragility, fear of not to be the same again, fear that that wound consumes us. But Buddhism reminds us that all crack not only lets out what hurts, it also opens space for something new can come in. The shadow sequel, yes, but also the light. Suffering stagnates when only you ask, why did this happen to me? That question feeds the wound like a river that never stops. Change happens when you decide transform the question. What teaching? What clarity? What light can enter through this crack? Because what breaks is not always destruction. Sometimes it is opening. Sometimes it is the end of a prison invisible. Sometimes it's life telling you, you can't go this way anymore, remain the same. See your wound as a portal. The pain. What hurts is the same pain that is happening to you, pointing out the exit of your old version. That crack that you thought was a curse can be the door to your greatest awakening. When light enters, the wound stops be scar and become reminder that life always can be redone from a more true. Lesson 5. The cycle of attachment. The Buddha said, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Pain is like a stone in the road, concrete, immediate, real. You stumble, tear, and it hurts. That moment is part of life. Nobody can avoid it, but suffering appears when you pick up that stone and decide to carry it with you. remembering again and again the hit, caressing the wound with the mind, feeding its weight with your thoughts. That's the cycle of attachment, not letting go of what that has already happened. Relive the scene until it becomes an invisible prison. In reality, pain asks to be felt and then released. He is a visitor, not an eternal guest. The problem is when we invite him to stay, when we transform it into identity. I am the wound, I am the abandonment, I am the loss. The spiritual principle to break this cycle is clear. Do not feed with your attachment to that which has already left. What had happened and it's already in the past, but your attachment keeps it alive in the present. When you choose to let go, you're not denying what you've experienced. You're recognizing that you're no longer you want to live chained to the same thing, that the act of letting go does not erase the pain that existed, but cuts the thread that ties it to your heart. And, in that instant, the wound stops being a prison and starts being teacher. Teaching 6. Observe without identify. Every emotion is like a cloud in the sky of your conscience. It may be dark, can bring storm, can even discharge a lightning bolt, but in the end, it always happens. The problem arises when you forget that you are the sky and you are confused with the cloud. You say, I am my sadness, I am my anger, I am my fear. And in that instant, the cloud ceases to be temporary and turns into an endless storm inside you. The Buddha taught that suffering is perpetuates because we identify with it that we feel instead of observing it. When you become an observer, a profound revelation appears. You are not the storm. You always were the sky that contains it. Clouds change, form, and dissolve, but the sky remains. So it is your essence, intact, broad, luminous, although on the surface there are wounds and shadows. Breaking the cycle of emotional pain means to eliminate all emotions. But remember that they do not define your identity. They are visitors. You are the house. They are waves. You are the ocean. They are clouds. You are the sky. When you can look at your pain and say, this isn't me, it's just happening me, something inside is released. That is the power of conscious observation. Recover your true identity, more bigger than any wound, more immense than any storm. Teaching 7. Transform pain into path. In Buddhism, it is taught that every wound, it is also a portal. It is not a wall that blocks your life, but a door that can take you to another level of comprehension. Suffering, when we look at it with rejection, it becomes a chain. But when we look at it with compassion, it begins to reveal himself as a teacher. What hurt the most in your life is not there, not to destroy you, but to teach you something that no other experience could having shown you. Think of the cracks in a pot broken. At first glance, they look like a defect, but when they are filled with gold, as in the Japanese art of kintsugi, they transform in sacred beauty. So it is with you too. Your cracks are the exact places where you can enter wisdom, strength, and light. Transform pain into a path. It means neither erasing the past nor pretending that nothing happened. It means honoring him with a new meaning. It means asking yourself, what lesson hid this pain? How can my wound serve not only me, but also to others? When you understand this, your wound leaves from being a weight and becomes a lighthouse. It's no longer the place where you fell, but the point from which you started to wake up wiser, freer, and more compassionate. That is the spiritual principle that breaks definitely the cycle of pain emotional. Make pain a path, not a prison. Stop for a moment, take a deep breath, as if every inhalation brought clarity, and each exhalation will release a little of the weight you have carried in silence. Now think about that pain that is repeated over and over again in your life. It can have different faces, different circumstances, but deep down always feels the same. Ask yourself honestly, am I repeating it because I haven't done it yet? Released? Is it really mine, or is it a borrowed peso? Inherited from others that I continue to drag without realizing it? What light can I let in through this wound instead of continuing feeding the shadow? There are no immediate answers, and neither they have to be perfect. The important thing is to dare to look, because the simple fact of asking yourself these questions already begin to break the circle. Remember, every time you observe your wound with awareness rather than with fear, you are already transforming the path. The wound stops being a wall and begins to open like a door to you inner freedom. Close your eyes for a moment and let each word sink like a seed into your inside. They are not phrases in the air. They are reminders of your own truth. If you feel it, repeat after me in a low voice, or mentally, I am not a prisoner of my past. I am creator of my present. Today I release all weight that does not belong to me and I return to my essence. Every wound I experience now becomes in wisdom that guides me. My heart is vaster than my pain and its light embraces all shadow. I break the cycle of suffering and walk free towards the fullness of my being. Allow these affirmations to vibrate in you. Every time you repeat them, not only you heal your mind, you also rewrite the memory of your soul. Tonight, find a quiet place. Take a piece of paper and draw a circle. Inside, write a single word that represents that pain that has been repeated in your life. Fear, abandonment, guilt, empty. Observe it for a few moments. Recognize it. Say silently, I've walked here too many times. This has been my labyrinth. Now take your pen and with determination draw a straight line through the circle from one side to the other. Feels like, by doing so, you break the pattern inside yourself. As you walk through it, repeat out loud, Lo, the cycle ends here. Today I choose a new road. You can keep that paper on your altar as a reminder of your decision or deliver it to the fire to seal symbolically your liberation. That simple gesture will be engraved in your unconscious. You no longer spin in the same pain. Now life opens towards freedom. Remember, pain may touch your life, but it does not have to dictate your destiny. He appears as a teacher, but only becomes a jailer if you choose not to wake up. The cycle repeats itself over and over again until that you decide to open your eyes and transform it into wisdom. I would love to read your experience in the comments. What cycle of pain do you recognize in your life? What sign do you feel invites you to break it now? If these words resonated with you, heart, I invite you to keep walking together along this path. Here we are not looking to escape from pain, but transmute it into clarity, freedom, and light inside. May every step you take from today onwards be lighter, more aware, and more yours. See you in the next video. Hugs, light.